A very good morning to all of you friends. Today we are going to study about the last topic of our chapter 3, that is fiber to fabric. Okay, the last topic includes some subtopics, some smaller topics like what is the history of clothing. Okay, what is the history of clothing materials? We will study about the importance of clothing materials. Okay, or clothes. We will talk about the stages and the relationship of stages and the clothing materials, and at last we will study about what are the factors on which clothing materials depend. Okay, these are the subtopic under today's video. Now let us start with the first one, history of clothing materials. Okay, the history of clothing materials. See, so far we have studied about the different types of fibers, isn't it? Plant fibers. We have studied about cotton, we have studied about jute. When you go to class 7, you will study about wool and silk. Okay, so all the fibers. Now what is the history of these clothing materials? Now you should know what is the history. Like prehistoric man, okay, cavemen or not, they didn't know how to cover their body with clothes because they didn't know how to weave clothes. Okay, how to extract the fiber from the plants or animals. Then what they used to do, they used to cover their bodies by, see, in case of stone age men, okay, very primitive stone age cavemen, they used to cover their bodies with, you must have seen TV or cartoons also, with leaves, okay, big leaves. And they also used to cover their bodies with animal skin. When the animal died, they used to use that skin, and sometimes in cold countries they used to wear the animal fur also to protect themselves from cold. Okay, so please remember, it is very easy. So stone age man or men, they used to cover their bodies with leaves, skin and fur. Leaves, okay, skin, animal skin and animal fur. Now after that, when stone age men or cavemen, they became a little bit more civilized, and they started to settle down and then started agriculture. Okay, they started planting trees and all. Then they discovered cotton and one more fiber that is called flax or flax, flax. Okay, so in some internet you will see it is also flax, flax. Okay, that is the linseed. So flax is a type of fiber, or flax. In our book it is written flax, but sometimes flax is also there. Both are correct. Now agricultural men, they used to cover their bodies by some rough type of clothing materials that was made of cotton and flax. Okay, so this flax is also cotton like fiber, like jute we have studied. So like that, flax is also a type of fiber that is extracted from some plants. Okay, that is about agricultural men. And modern man, you know, modern man, they use synthetic fibers. Okay, now this is the history of clothing materials. Now after that, our second point is importance of clothing. Okay, importance of clothing means why do we wear clothes? Now there are 3 to 4 points about the importance of clothing. Now the first point about importance of clothing is that these clothes, they protect us from many things, like it protect us from wind, it protect us from sun, it protect us from dust and dirt particles, also insect bite, and sometimes injuries also. Okay, sometimes when you fall down, if you have cloth cover, your body is covered with cloth, then only the cloth will suffer wear and tear, our body will be saved. So it also protects us from injuries. Okay, this is the first point. Second point, it maintains the body temperature. So clothes, they keep us warm in winter and they keep us cool during the summer. Like we wear white clothes during summer and we wear black or dark color clothes during winter. So it also helps to maintain the body temperature, regulate the body temperature, the body heat. Okay, second point. Now third point, the clothes, they absorb the sweat in our body. Okay, and keep us cool. You know, sweat, when the cotton clothes we wear and they absorb the sweat, that means the heat that is produced by our body, then it makes us feel cool. Okay, third point. Fourth point is that clothing materials, they also make us look decent. Okay, we cover our body properly and it looks like as if we are decent and we become civilized. Okay, because these were uncivilized, isn't it? Stone men, they were uncivilized, civilization was not there. But now man has become very much civilized. Okay, and to such extent that these clothing materials, they have become so important now in fashion and all of, you see there are different types and different uniforms of the clothing materials. Okay, so importance of clothing materials we have studied. 4 points are there. You can also just learn 3 to 4 points. Now let us see the third topic, that is stages, the relationship between stages and the clothing materials. Relationship means the different types of stages which are present. Okay, now this is important, please pay attention. What are the different stages of clothing? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. If we consider this prehistoric time or history, okay, both stone age as well as to some extent agricultural men also, this falls under stage 1. That means when men discovered bark of trees and leaves, okay, and cotton and flax and nettles, etc. These are different types of fibers which were, by which clothings were made by ancient men. Okay, that is considered to be stage 1. After that is stage 2, when more development was there in the phase of clothing. So that is called stage 2. In stage 2, wool and silk were discovered. Okay, when you study about wool and silk in class 7, you will see they require some specific technical processes. Okay, there is processing of wool, processing of silk. So it is little bit more smart way of making fiber, animal fiber. So that is stage 2. Okay, so plant fiber, animal fiber. Stage 3, we have nylon, rayon, polyester and all types of synthetic dressing materials or clothing materials. That is called stage 2. That means all the synthetic materials. So please remember, stage 1 we have plant fibers, stage 2 we have animal fibers, and stage 3 we have synthetic materials. Okay, synthetic fibers. Now this is the relationship between stage and the clothing fibers, the clothing materials or the clothing fibers. Okay, now our last topic is factors on which clothing materials depend. What are the factors on which clothing materials depend? Now the factors are, there are different factors like climate, okay, like occupation, or like culture and tradition, okay, or also daily needs. Let us see one by one. The first one, that is climate. So in case of climate, what happens? Climate, when the climate is hot, we wear soft cotton clothes. When the climate is cold, we wear woolen clothes. Okay, so climate. So the factors on which clothing material depends. So clothing material depends on the first factor, that is climate. Okay. Second one, occupation. You have seen different type of people wear different uniforms. Policemen, they wear very tough type of khaki dress. Doctors, they wear white. Okay. Again, lawyers wear black. Okay, nurses, they have their own uniform. The students, they have their own uniform. Okay, when we go to school, we have our uniform. So according to the occupation or the work also, we wear clothes. So clothing materials also depends on the occupation. Okay, then comes the third one, that is culture and tradition. Culture means, you will see North Indians, they have different culture of wearing dress. South Indians have different culture. East Indians, West Indians. So according to our climate, our habits, etc. Okay, according to the weather, the climate, according to the climate, our clothing materials also differ. Because in Kashmir, people will wear clothes which are made of, you can say, wool or sheep wool. Okay, whereas in South India, because it is quite hot, so they wear cotton clothes. Okay, so in this way. And the last point, that is daily needs. Daily needs means, according to, like you are students, when you go to school, you have a different set of clothes. When you come home, you have a separate casual clothes. When you go to a party, you have some gaudy or fancy clothes. So according to our daily needs also, the clothing materials, they differ. Okay, or they depend. So what are the 4 factors on which the clothing materials depend? They are the climate, the occupation, okay, the culture or tradition, and the daily needs. So today we completed these 4 subtopics under the history of clothing, okay, or clothing materials. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will upload the summary. Please go through it, learn it, and from the next video we will start writing the question answers. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video.